The ocean is the last place on Earth where mystery still breathes. Even with all our technology, there are depths humans have barely touched, places where sunlight never reaches, pressure can crush steel, and strange life hides in the darkness. Yet a few brave divers risk everything to explore these forgotten worlds. But not all of them return the same. Some come back with stories that keep them awake at night, memories that haunt them every time they hear the sound of water. Today, we're counting down 5 real deep-sea diver stories, the kind of stories that make you wonder what else is down there watching, waiting, and why some divers refuse to ever return. These stories are terrifying, unbelievable, and completely unforgettable. Let's begin. Number 5. The Shadow Beneath the Rig, the diver who saw something alive in the pipeline. Oil rig divers are trained for the worst. They know how to handle darkness, strong currents, tight spaces, and total isolation. But what happened to Henrik, an experienced saturation diver in the North Sea, wasn't in any manual. His team was sent down to inspect a massive industrial pipeline 300 feet below the surface. Visibility was almost zero. Thick clouds of sediment swirled with each movement. Henrik followed the pipeline's curve until his lights caught something strange, a section of pipe dented from the outside, as if something huge had hit it. But then he noticed something else. The dent was pulsing. Not shifting from the current, not moving from some mechanical vibration. It was expanding and contracting, as if the metal was breathing. Henrik reported it through the radio, but the surface team brushed it off, telling him it was probably pressure movement or temperature differences. Still, the breathing didn't stop. Then the pipeline shook violently. Henrik froze as he felt the vibration travel through the water and into his chest. His helmet light flickered, and in the corner of his vision, he saw a massive shadow pulling away from the pipe, something huge, fast, and completely silent. He only caught a glimpse, contours too large to be a shark, a shape that didn't match any known marine creature. The water around him churned as whatever it was disappeared into the abyss below. When he surfaced, Henrik refused to dive for months. He later admitted that the worst part wasn't seeing the shadow, it was knowing that it saw him first. Number 4. The lost diver who heard knocking from inside a shipwreck. Shipwrecks are underwater tombs, dark, rusted, and cold. But divers explore them because they are history frozen in time. Lucas, a wrecked diver from the Philippines, had explored dozens of them. But one wreck would change him forever. The vessel lay off the coast of Mindoro, tilted on its side, and split down the middle. Lucas and his partner entered through an opening near the bow. Everything was silent, except for the distant, rumbling movement of the tide. Lucas worked his way into what used to be a hallway, shining his narrow beam of light across broken furniture and floating sediment. Then he heard it. 3 knocks. Clear. Sharp. Coming from deeper, inside the wreck. He spun around, expecting his dive partner. But no one was there. He radioed the surface, but the signal was weak. The knocks came again, this time closer. Slow. Deliberate. Lucas froze. Divers sometimes hallucinate in bad visibility, but knocking? Underwater, inside sealed metal compartments? He followed procedure, moving back toward the exit. But as he turned, he saw a dark figure at the end of the hall. A human silhouette. Not swimming. Standing. The beam of his light trembled. The figure didn't move. Lucas couldn't see its face, but he could see its hand, slowly rising, slowly pressing against the wall. Then came another knock. This time only inches away. Lucas bolted, swimming through the wreck, so fast he scraped his tank against jagged metal. His partner later said he heard the knocks too, echoing through the hull. No one has entered that wreck again. Local fishermen now say the ship was a refugee boat that sank in a storm, trapping dozens inside. Some believe the souls of those who couldn't escape still wander the hallways, still waiting for help. Number 3. The deep dive that recorded a scream 1,000 feet below. In the world of commercial diving, saturation divers sometimes descend into depths where the water pressure is so extreme that even sound travels differently. But in 2019, a deep-sea mission recorded something that stunned the entire crew. A 3-man saturation team was repairing a deep water valve around 1,000 feet down. They worked in near-total darkness, guided only by their helmet lights and sonar. One of the divers, Keenan, heard a faint noise through his comms, something the surface team wasn't picking up. He described it as a metallic moan. At first, he assumed it was machinery or the movement of the seafloor. But then it changed, stretching, rising, until it became unmistakably human. It was a scream. Not muffled by water, not distorted, a raw, terrified scream echoing through his helmet. Keenan panicked, demanding confirmation from the surface. The team checked the audio feed, and after boosting the signal, they heard it too. A long, hollow scream, somewhere in the pitch-black water around the divers. Another diver, Malik, said he saw something move in the dark. Something drifting just past the reach of their lights. Large, almost humanoid in shape, but with movements that didn't make sense, jerky, floating, not quite natural. The team immediately aborted the mission. Number 2. The cave diver who met something crawling in the darkness. If the open ocean is dangerous, underwater caves are death traps. No light, no backup, no space to turn around. Only divers with absolute mental discipline dare to enter. Marco was one of them. He was exploring a cave system in Mexico, deep, twisting tunnels carved by thousands of years of flowing groundwater. Most caves are peaceful, but this one felt different the moment he entered. The water was unusually still, muffling every sound except the soft hiss of his regulator. About 40 minutes into the dive, Marco entered a chamber with a silt-covered floor. He swept his light around. Nothing unusual, until the silt moved. Not from current, not from his fins. It shifted in long, narrow trails, as if something was crawling beneath it. He hovered, trying not to stir the water. The trails moved again, this time faster. Dozens of them, converging toward the center of the chamber. Then, from under the silt, long, pale shapes started emerging. Not fish, not eels. These were segmented, almost like oversized pale centipedes, each maybe 2 feet long, writhing blindly. Marco's regulator clicked, a sound that echoed strangely in the chamber. Instantly, all the creatures froze. Then they moved toward him. Not swimming, thrashing through the water with unnatural speed. He pushed backward, but in tight cave tunnels, speed is dangerous. One wrong kick can fill the water with silt, trapping a diver in pitch blackness. And that's exactly what happened. His fin hit the cave floor, and the chamber filled with a cloud of darkness. Marco's breathing spiked as he felt something brush against his leg. He scrambled along the cave wall, following the guideline with shaking hands. For 15 agonizing minutes, he felt the water vibrate with movement around him. When he finally emerged into clearer water, he didn't stop swimming until he reached daylight. Later, when he described the creatures, local guides told him of an old legend, blind cave crawlers that feed on anything warm. Marco never cave dived again. Number 1. The deep-sea diver who encountered a living wall at 2,000 feet. This final story comes from a government-contracted diver named Ellis, who participated in one of the deepest man-maintenance dives ever attempted, nearly 2,000 feet below the surface, using a specialized pressurized diving suit. At that depth, darkness isn't just an absence of light, it's a physical force. A crushing quiet that wraps around you. Ellis was inspecting an underwater structure, moving slowly along its metal framework. He turned a corner, and suddenly, his suit lights reflected off something massive. At first, he assumed it was a canyon wall, a solid surface extending vertically beyond his beam. But as he approached, the wall shifted. Not from current, not from machinery. It rippled. He aimed his lights upward, and the wall pulsed again, like the slow movement of muscle. Ellis froze. His heart pounded so loudly he could hear it through the audio feed. Then the wall opened. A slit. A massive vertical slit running along the surface, like an eyelid. And behind it, a dark circular shape, widening. A pupil. The wall was an eye. A single, impossibly large eye belonging to something so huge that even at full lighting, he couldn't see the edges of its body. The pupil contracted as his lights hit it, and then the structure beneath him shook. A deep, vibrating sound rolled through the water, low and resonant, as if the creature was reacting to his presence. Ellis didn't wait. He pushed off the structure and activated his ascent protocol. The surface team begged him to slow down to avoid decompression sickness, but he kept rising, screaming that something was moving behind him. His cameras captured only one moment before they failed, a massive shadow shifting, blocking out every bit of light around him. The rest of the footage was corrupted. Ellis retired immediately after that dive. He said humans were never meant to see what lies in the deepest trenches. The ocean hides things far larger, far older, and far more aware than we want to believe. The ocean is a world we still barely understand. Every dive into its depths is a journey into the unknown, a place where humans don't belong, where ancient creatures roam, where darkness hides things we aren't ready to see. These divers return with stories that feel impossible. Yet the ocean has always held secrets beyond imagination. If you want more terrifying deep-sea stories and real, unexplained encounters, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next dive into the unknown.